start off this tier list video, doing a tier list video for YouTube, hopefully helping out new players coming to the game, new players that started the game. I wanted to give my personal take about where these characters have now shifted inside the game. Now that it's been out for a while, everyone had a chance to explore further, and where characters currently rank with the knowledge that we have, right? To keep this system fair, this tier list is going to rank every character at I6. So the opinions that we'll have isn't going to be based off of, oh well, this character currently is I2 for like the average person, yada yada yada. This is like their I6. So every character on this list will be ranked based off I6 performance levels. Thankfully, I feel like that's super fair. The way each grading is gonna work, I made a little note here. Like D tier is obviously garbage. I think the characters even at I6 is just not really worth your time. They don't really serve a purpose or anything like that, or they don't really work out too well. C tier, I just put like character technically isn't really relevant anymore. They used to be relevant, but now like either they're super replaceable, they don't really fit in any like kind of team or anything like that, even as like an AI unit. The only time you'll probably use a character in C tier is if you literally have no other option, right? And then like that's where C tier comes in. B tier is kind of like the character. You might main a character for a while. They'll carry you through early game. You'll find the game very enjoyable with them. You're not really hitting like any like hard stuck walls too much, I guess you could say. Or maybe if you do stick with them, you enjoy them, and when you fully build them, you're like, okay, this character is good, but then they stop like literally like mid game, right? So like even when you put like all your investment into them, they really struggle trying to clear enemies like after like level 80 and all that stuff like that. Like there's that. A tier is essentially like they're really good at the game. It's just the problem is because of the game structure and the way how the meta works in this game. Not talking about Duet, Night Electro, Duet, Night Enemo, right? Just the way the overall farming structure goes and like everything you're gonna really be spending your time doing. The character's just too niche to where there's just other characters that not only eclipse them in damage, but also just excel at farming, mobbing, and all that stuff like that. Like you can play those other characters comfortably, whereas playing like this other character, even though they're strong, they're just far too niche, or they suck at their own niche because there's just better options overall. Like you're literally just forcing yourself to play this character just because you want to play that character, right? So that's like A tier, right? So A tier doesn't mean like they're bad. Like they're actually good. They can do in-game content. It's just unfortunately you probably just won't play them because the other options are just way too good, realistically. And I think that's the good way we're gonna rate everything, right? So I guess looking at our list, we're starting off with Berenica. Oh, by the way, for people popping into the chat as well, I will be doing a $15 giveaway of Foxine plumes. I'll deposit it directly to your account via your UID. In game, doesn't matter what server you are. You guys are most likely familiar with it. All you have to do is just hang out in a chat and chill. Just make sure you stay active from time to time. And then I'll deposit it. This giveaway will be mainly for DNA because I'm not gonna lie to you, it was supposed to be like for the 1.2 update. And there's too many other games right now to try to like figure that whole thing out and try to make sure we get people like their gift cards and all that stuff like that. So it's just easier to keep it in line with DNA. So I apologize for anyone who doesn't play DNA. Starting off with Berenica, I think Berenica, I would probably say even at I6 with the new demon wedges that came out, I would naturally say like Berenica is probably like around C tier. Her fighting level 80 enemies was like really rough, but with the new demon wedges, I would probably argue she's really good around like, I'll definitely say she's about B tier. I won't put her in A tier. I'll be honest, like she's good at killing bosses, but killing like a level 180 mob is like another story. I I don't have her demon wedges completely maxed out. I would say there's room for her to hit A, but I'm gonna say she's, for the most part, she's a high B tier unit. Really high B tier. You can boss with her fine. For anyone who's thinking like you're sleeping on Brinica, you can boss with Brinica. It's not that bad, right? And especially with the new wedges, it's even better. But it's gonna take you a while because you also need to wait like 5 months to plus 10 the new wedges, unless you're gonna buy the amplification modules. So that is something to keep in mind too. So she I'm gonna just say from right now, high B tier, low A tier for now. Next is Daphne. Daphne for me is unfortunately a character who got hit really hard with the introduction of like Fushu, Fina, and then just Truffle also just being like one of like the top tier supports. It's really hard for Daphne to find space in like any team comp whatsoever. She's been absolutely replaced, right? So you don't really see people play Daphne unless you're like absolutely brand new to the game. And Decay is like cool, but all the other buffs are just so much stronger, a lot better. That Daphne just falls off even at I6. DPS Daphne, cool and everything like that, but still it's way too niche and she's heavily replaced. Fina's just better, every way, shape, and form. She's down here in C tier. Fina, going to Fina. Fina, I would say in terms of support, S tier. She is a solid, good semi DPS, but she's nowhere on the level of like everyone else. But I'd definitely say I'll say Fina's S tier. Actually, I'm not even gonna try to argue it. She's S tier, right? Whether it's like you casually farming and all that stuff like that, or using her as a support, she's there. She does do good damage. She is a character you kind of build your weapon up for, but she's pretty solid. S tier. No one can argue. Fushu, definitely S tier. Same reasons as Fina. In effect, she grants you sanity for those teams that don't have access to like the new wings inspos and all that stuff like that, and they want an extra boost to their sanity. Fushu got you. She's really good with multiple different team comps, even some of the newer characters that came out. She just synergizes very well and helps that out. Also, when you get her I4, again, all these characters are based off I6, so she also provides morale as well, and morale is like crazy cracked inside this game. So she just provides monster boost, just the most monstrous boost you can possibly imagine. So definitely gonna throw her there. Hellfire, in my opinion, until we get new demon wedges, Hellfire is gonna be one of those characters that if you're a diehard main and you max her out, she's gonna be around B tier. Same thing with Barry, right? She's not an A tier character. She's more of just a B tier character. This is like her stopping point for now until we get new wedges. But she's not bad. And now that she's also out of the weekly rotation, anyone can farm her very easily and get that I6. Whereas before I was kind of like, but now again, everyone's I6. So we'll say she's B tier. Hilda, unreleased. Keizo. What's up, Nix? That was D tier. Shut up. For Keizo's a tricky one for me. Because honestly, I think I'm gonna say Keizo's A. He's an A tier unit. He's insanely good. He's really good. He can definitely clear things. He's a hyper invested character. But the thing I will say about Keizo is that, again, he's really replaceable and overshadowed by the fact that his mobbing potential isn't as good as some of the other characters like that on this list, right? I'm not even going to talk about it. But, like, I think it's fair to say he's an A tier unit. He's not bad. He's one of those characters that if you play him, you're picking him solely because you just like him, even though you know there's better options. And you're not struggling with the content inside the game. It's just very, very niche. Like, you're intentionally making this conscious decision to just like absolutely play Keizo, right? And you don't hate it. Nightfall, she's definitely S tier. Solid Mystic Maze, good at mobbing, good at bossing. You can comfortably play this character at I6 perfectly fine, right? And no matter what it is, like if you don't want to use rhythm, if you don't want to use like any of the other characters on the you'll still find like you'll be comfortable playing the game at the very least. That's the most thing. Like that's the most important thing about Nightfall. She's just a very comfortable unit. So I'm gonna throw her at S tier. Lynn. Oh, I hate to do this to Lynn. Some people might really hate me for this, but she's a character that is good. However, I don't want to say she's B tier because Lynn is strong. However, she's just way too niche. She's way too niche right now. I wouldn't necessarily say she really needs like a rework, but a nice little change to like the way her kit works or her ability would be nice. When we get into like the pyro phases, like when she gets more wedges, I'd probably put her there. Now, I'm not placing Lynn in C tier because I think Hellfire is better than her in any way, shape, or form. Let me just correct that. She's definitely better than Hellfire, hands down. Like I would probably say A. Actually, you know what? Just to not confuse him, we'll put her in A. We'll just put her in A tier. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw in A tier because you can still use it for Mystic Maze and stuff like that. I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna confuse people if I put her in C tier. I'm just gonna say A tier. She's solid. You can use her if you really want to. It's a very conscious decision that you're making, right? But she's not weak in any like shape or form. It's just she's restricted by her movement when she pops her Q. And unfortunately, she doesn't have like a lot of demon wedges and no whole constants thing. But yeah, we'll say A tier. Sorry for the confusion. I just don't want people to get confused. A tier. Margie. Oh, this character is so good. I never finished building my Margie yet to see how good her damage is at a solo basis and how well she goes up to level 180. But Margie's passive boost is actually really nice. So I'm not going to put her in B tier. I'm going to put Margie in A tier. And Margie goes in A tier because of the fact that she's an amazing companion to have. Even if you're not playing Margie as a main DPS, just for unlocking her passive skill tree alone for the attack boost that she gives, her attack boost is immense. It's massive. In short, she gives about an 85% attack boost, right? Another character who gives an 80% attack boost is Jilliu, who just released. And Jilliu's attack boost at 80% is an I4, right? Margie just does that at a baseline, right? Just at a baseline. Doesn't matter. You can leave her at level, like, well, not really leave at level 1, but hypothetically speaking, you can leave her at level 1, grab her talents, and then, like, boom, she's giving you that boost, right? Can't really do that because you always got to level up her talents, but you know what I mean. Anyways, as AI companion with some of the newer characters coming out, as their scaling gets higher and higher and higher, this character stocks keeps going up with the game. So I think Margie is definitely great. So we're slapping her right there in A tier. Just from like the simple sake of she makes a really strong AI companion, and if you decide to play with her like yourself as a main character, you'll have fun with her for a little bit. But she I won't say she's niche. She definitely has purposes on teams. Fantasio. This is a character at I6 that's really strong, but again, super replaceable. Really strong character. I don't think he's crazy. Like, he does a lot of damage with bossing, killing mobs and stuff like that, but not mobbing like on a hard scale like all these other characters, and you're not really slapping him into like any team. He's kind of like he wants to play. Unfortunately, Umbro doesn't get a lot of wedges either. Maybe when he gets more wedges, there'll be that, but he'll probably be better. But he's just one of those characters that, like, if you invest in him, you want to play with him, have fun. He's really strong. He's definitely better than mid game. You can take him to end game. But I wouldn't say he's like S tier or anything like that. Definitely A tier. A tier for sure. Like mid to high A tier. So I'll probably put him next to Keizo for sure. Psyche, everyone should know by now, except if you're brand new to the game. Psyche's definitely S tier. This character, she's pretty much the MC of Duet Night Abyss. Even after all of the NMO hype and stuff like that, she had a 3-month reign of just bullying all of the game's content. Everything revolved around her. She is super strong, even when it's not like an NMO based like event or anything like that. She's really powerful, especially at I6 with her pin stat. She does good AoE. She's good at shredding bosses. She's good at killing any kind of elite. She flies around. She has a nice quality of life kit. She's just a very solid unit. You can have a lot of fun playing with Psyche for sure. Randy's next in line. Now, this character, I'm going to put him in D tier. He's absolutely garbage. And the reason why I say Randy's garbage is because even at I6, Randy's whole purpose is that he wants to be a tank and he wants to shred damage or shred enemy shields. The problem is that characters in the S tier, even in the A tier, are so strong. They don't even care about enemy shields or even their over shields, right? In this game, if you pump out so much damage right now that you just absolutely obliterate it, that Randy isn't necessary. Like so he doesn't really like sit there and help you out, right? So he's kind of just like a pointless character when like all these other characters can provide like meaningful like boosts and damage to just kind of just obliterate shields anyways. And then he doesn't do any damage. And then in terms of tanking and making everyone resistant, like to like being able to take more hits, that doesn't matter considering the fact that in in-game enemies don't really do a whole lot of damage to you anyways, and Fushu also provides ultra shield. Another big like red flag. So Randy's just kind of like downer. He kind of needs a massive overhaul to his kit. Unfortunately, the only thing this guy got is like aura points. He just aura farms, but he's just not needed in this game. He's completely unnecessary. Rebecca's super strong. One of the strongest characters in the game. I definitely think that Rebecca would be like one of my favorite characters for sure if it wasn't for the range cap. But unfortunately, because of like how rhythm exists and everything like that, she's one of those characters you make the conscious decisions of farming and playing with. I think you could play her comfortably. You won't really hate if you were like a Rebecca main. It's just she's still like, I put her high A tier. She's definitely closer to S tier than these other units. I would say I want to throw her S tier for sure, but unfortunately because her jellyfishes are stationary, she has to actually press E, plop them down, all that stuff like that. It kind of hurts her in the long run. Let me turn my phone off. I hate all the distractions. What's up, Nox? How you doing, man? Rhythm's definitely S tier right now, especially in 1.2. We just got new Electro Demon Wedges. Even before 1.2, she was already kind of a problem, and now she's even more problematic in this game. So yeah, she's honestly, if I made a new tier, I'd probably put her in like double S. I think we're gonna have to make a new tier. Let's say SS, right? SS tier for sure, because the Electro characters are kind of. Oh wait, the electric units are kind of crazy right now. This is they're really busted. So we'll definitely say she's probably like the first double S character. She far exceeds these characters in damage, AFK farming, everything like that. Sybil. I'm trying not to be biased because I really like Sybil. Because of how Sybil's kit works, honestly, Sybil's a really strong unit. She's insanely powerful now. Even before 1.2, she was really strong. But going off the same reasons for like Rebecca, it's kind of like you just have like with rhythm existing, it's really hard to sit there and make her an S tier unit. You know, like if you play Sybil, you're playing her as a conscious decision, like knowing that rhythm exists. But you know, you won't hate playing Sybil, right? She's really, really, really strong. So she's high A tier for sure. Especially as of like right now, when it comes to farming, you'll have fun if you actively farm inside this game. I think you'll enjoy some Sybil. She's nice, and it's just fun also like killing bosses with her, just absolutely annihilating them. Tabitha. Tabby? Oh, how she has fallen, dude. She was like on everyone's team comp. Now she's down here in the C tier. Same thing with Daphne. Unfortunately, with the introduction of Fushu and Fina, it's very hard to really throw Tabitha in any real team comp, really. And then even as like a damage dealer, she's kind of not that crazy either. So she kind of just fell off, really. Instead of giving you skill intensity, she's supposed to give you skill damage, but like these other characters just provide so much higher boost in power that the skill damage thing that you get from her isn't it's not anything crazy, right? Like I haven't noticed anything crazy with her. So in my opinion, I think she's just too niche right now. She works in very few teams. That's all I'm gonna say. Like you won't hate using her, but there's definitely better options. Truffle S tier. Truffle's S tier for sure. Truffle's honestly very nasty in this game. Her damage boost, ridiculous. 103% damage boost with 300 flat attack added to your character is kind of just ridiculous. And she also pairs with one of the S tier characters, Psyche. And her stocks are only going to go higher in the future when we get more resolve based characters, because she does give herself and allies more resolve. It doesn't make sense why she gives herself resolve, but hey, she gives allies resolve too. And so as we get more resolve based units, she's only going to be needed more on those teams unless they come with like another solidified DPS or sub DPS or whatever. But she's really good. If you main Tabitha, if you want to play her hog is fun, and she does a crazy amount of damage as an HP scaler. So her stocks through the roof, right? I definitely say she's S tier, almost, dare I say it, double S, right? But I'm just gonna say S tier because Fushu and Fina would probably be double S. Actually, no, I'm gonna move Fina and that pin stat is kind of nasty. Actually, now I'll leave Fina in S tier and put Fushu double S. Yeah, because I really don't use Fina as often as like other people. I'll put Wushu above Fina for sure. Okay, Yell and Oliver. This one I might need some help with. You got good news? What's your good news? Yell and Oliver for me is a tricky one. Because I know he does a lot of damage, but like at least in the beginning, around 1.0, he was doing like a lot of damage when we mainly heard about all the hype. But that was also a pyro-based kind of meta. It was pyro and Enemo, right? And ever since then, I haven't heard anyone really talk about Yell and Oliver. And I haven't really dabbled with them, so I'm going to say as of right now, Yell and Oliver is going to chill inside mid-game B tier. If anyone else has any like input they want to put in, if you have your own opinions and stuff like that, you can let me know in the comment section below, or someone in chat can also let me know about Yell and Oliver. But I'm gonna throw Yell and Oliver in the B tier. Yu Ming is unreleased, but I do speculate that Yu Ming is gonna be a double S character when he releases. Main reason for that being his scaling is actually kind of ridiculous, and the supports that he provides right now, he's definitely gonna be really good in the mono Electro teams. I think even outside of that, he provides skill range and all that stuff like that. But that's all speculation looking at his kit currently inside the game. Dude's like damage multipliers, everything he can do is just nuts, right? So I'm estimating double S in the future. For now, we're gonna put him in on the release category. Jilliu, absolutely busted. She's literally just the new Knifel, right? Except for the fact that unlike Knifel can just like shoot all of her bows out and then like, you know, mob things with like emblem fluorescence. Jilliu just like, you do have to push your like your buttons next to the enemies and stuff like that still, but she just does so much damage. And depending on how you decide you want to build Jilliu, even if you sacrifice some of her damage, she still ends up doing more damage, right, than Knifel. And so you could sacrifice more damage for a crap ton more range and then just bomb everything. It's absolutely insane. Or you could just say screw it, and like her base range in and of itself is still good for mobbing and bossing. She's just excellent. She's just excellent. Super unfair biasness, but right now it is Duet and Electro, and using her even as an AI companion is kind of nasty because of the fact that she has access to things like Wings Inspo Morale right now, which helps buff everyone on the team. She also provides meaningful buffs, like she gives you an 80% attack boost at I4. She does other things. She grants like another, like I think, like another boost to morale just off her passive tree alone. Whenever someone in an electric team does things, so she's really strong. Double S character. Outsider, we got a lot of A tier characters. Outsider is definitely A tier. Definitely A tier as well. He's another character that's really strong, especially around the Anemo kind of hype. He's a good weapon platformer. He's really easy to get up and running, super easy to build, does massive damage, especially if you use things like the Momoji Teki, and he's a fun character. But again, he's one of those characters that when you look at him, you might think, what's the point? Right? Like, why would I actually use this character? Lastly is Lisbel. Lisbel is kind of tricky. So Lisbel is known for her bossing, and I know there's going to be those people saying S tier. Nah, I don't think Lisbel's S tier. I think Lisbel's one of those characters, truth be told, is probably around B tier in my opinion. She's a B tier unit for me. I'll put her in B to C, and I'd mainly throw Lisbel in C tier now at this point, mainly because even though she's strong, I think Keizo is better than Lisbel, arguably, especially at I6 because he gets pin stat and all that stuff. And then Lisbel, she has to charge up her attacks to like do a big bonk hit, and her big bonk hit is just what Knifel just does casually, right? So she's just kind of in this like too niche to heavily replaced kind of character. Might need a slight buff here and there, whatever. And that's my honest take. You can make her strong and go up, but like I'm gonna just say she's just too niche, heavily replaced, unfortunately, in the Lumino category. What's up, Tetra? What is Plumes? Plumes is the premium currency inside DNA, so you could do like pulls, buy cosmetics, all that stuff. Also, congratulations, Neko. This is the tier list, man. This is where I rank every character. I don't know if you guys agree with this take or if you disagree. No, I'm only doing DNA. It's